Warhammer Army Book. The following is a list of army books and supplements for the various armies released for the Games Workshop Warhammer Fantasy Battle game. An army book in the Warhammer Fantasy tabletop wargame is a rules supplement containing information concerning a particular army environment or worldwide campaign. Army books for particular armies were introduced for the 4th edition of the game. Prior to that, all armies were included in the main rulebook. The 6th edition rendered these obsolete. Until superseded by newer versions, the 6th edition and later books remain valid for the newer editions of Warhammer. Games Workshop has also released various expansions over the years, including the Siege Rules Supplement and Campaign expansions. Expansions and supplements may or may not be valid over multiple editions, though generally they cycle similarly to the army books. An army book normally contains background information about the race and its place in the Warhammer world. This includes artwork, short stories, maps, timelines, and copies of fictional documents. Bestiary, a list of the units, characters, and war machines that can be chosen for use in a battle. This includes their characteristic values, information on their weapon options, and any limitations on their use, as well as background information on each unit. An army's special magic lore, if applicable, and special magic items are listed here. Hobby section information on collecting, building, and painting an army from the army book. This features outstanding example models painted by the Games Workshop EV Metal team, as well as Games Workshop's army painters and veteran hobbyists. Army list. Each entry from the bestiary is arranged by type: Lord, Hero, Core, Special, Rare, and given a points value, with more powerful units costing more points, so that battles are fought between balanced armies. Options and costs are listed here. Current books. No Warhammer Fantasy Army books are considered current, as Warhammer Fantasy Battles game was discontinued by Games Workshop. However, an unofficial site, the Warhammer Project, run by a group of devotees, does much to preserve the old Warhammer Fantasy genre. They have created a 9th edition of the rules, which, together with many of the unofficial original army books, are all available as free PDF download. Well worth a visit by the old Warhammer enthusiast. Army books. The final version of Warhammer Army books was the 8th edition. The last 8th edition Army book was printed in 2014 for Wood Elves. The first Army book for the Empire was printed for 4th edition rules in 1993, spanning some 21 years of printing of Warhammer Army books for the game of Fantasy Battles, formerly known as Warhammer Fantasy Battle. The original Warhammer world was destroyed in a Warhammer Fantasy novels/in-game event called End Times in 2015. 8th edition. 8th edition Army books are hardcover and full color. 8th edition was released July 2010. Supplements. Supplements. 8th edition. Expansions. Games Workshop and Warhammer Forge, the fantasy division of Forge World, a subsidiary of Games Workshop, have released expansions to the 8th edition game. Battle Scrolls. Games Workshop and the Black Library, the publishing arm of GW, have released Battle Scrolls for Warhammer Fantasy. They are digitally released and expand the options available to players, as well as contain background on their subject. Most are formations that can be added to any army as a unit outside of the normal army organization. Some noted below are additions to specific army lists and are taken following the normal rules for their unit type. Previous edition Warhammer Army books. Starting with the 4th edition rules, individual army books were published for various races and realms of the Warhammer world that had coinciding miniatures armies to play the Warhammer Fantasy Battles tabletop game. Earlier versions of the Warhammer Fantasy Battle game did not have individual army books. 7th edition. 7th edition was released in September 2006. 6th edition. 6th edition was released in October 2000. All Army books were initially replaced by a get-by-list in Ravening Hordes, distributed for free. In White Dwarf magazine's Warhammer Chronicles there came preview Army lists for Lizardmen WD 256, April 2001, Britannia WD 261, September 2001, Wood Elves WD 269, May 2002, and Beast of Chaos WD 275. Dogs of War got their main list and Regiments of Renown list in back-to-back issues WD 251 and 252 that were never replaced. Demon Horde got same sort of preview Army list in Annual 2002 November 2001. The preview lists can be found in Annual 2002 and Chronicles 2003 in addition to White Dwarf magazines. 5th edition. Fifth edition was released in October 1996. Fourth edition. Fourth edition was released in October 1992. It was the first edition to feature individual Army books. Supplements. Supplements. Sixth edition. Fifth edition. Fourth edition ==